Hey you, out there in the cold, getting lonely, getting old, can you feel me? Hey you, standing in the aisles with itchy feet and fading smiles, can you feel me? Hey you, don't help them to bury the light. Out there on your own, sitting naked by the phone, would you touch me? Hey you, with your ear against the wall, waiting for someone to call out, would you touch me? Hey you, would you help me to carry the stone? Open your heart, I'm coming home.
What is the art for me?
It's huge.
Art is when you actually create something.
It's not that hard because
The art for me, this is.
Well, it's a tricky one.
Art is expression. It's a process. Well, it's actually more like communication. It's expression you give, and it's impression and reaction you get from people.
Huge range of possibilities. I think everything can be art today, but art is poetry, music, ballet, dance, drama, movie, theater. Somebody's talent is art. Art is everyday life of working women or woman. It's art.
With artificial instruments and with unorganic things, like you create something with the paintbrush or with the piano or with the movie camera that actually induces a real emotion.
for me art is the way of living, because every one of us, it's like the artist, and he has opportunity to do masterpiece or master shit.
I have a very strange understanding. So I can give you, what art is in general, but for me it was related to music, because music is really something that was fundamental for me when I was a teenager. So when I think about artists, I think that they're somewhere between ideas and us. So art is actually a way in which we communicate a certain type of the ideas in a certain way. So a typical artist for me would be David Lynch, if you're talking about movie making. And when he describes the process of movie making, he talks about catching the fishes. So and the ideas are like fishes.
That is the pictures, the famous pictures like Picasso, Leonardo da Vinci. That is the art for me, not those postmodern things.
You inspire them to think about something. They get chills or whatever, when they say, artista, it's for someone who is doing something, it's the best you can get when someone tells you, you are artista.
The little girl, when she sees a Barbie doll, she's going to be so happy like she's never been in her life. But I don't think that's a true emotion. I'm talking about true emotions that exist. I don't think that's true emotion. I think this is the emotion that is brought by propaganda that was actually somehow actually founded in the little girl's head when she was like this. And I don't count that emotion. When you see some picture for the first time, you never seen any connection to this and it touches you emotionally, that's a real emotion. Or a great film that you never know anything about it. But you can actually do this through propaganda, and then people feel an emotion with something that has nothing to do with art. And I mean, many, since Napoleon, then Hitler, and others used this as a very wrong tool.
And that would be the art, because everyone is living differently, so that's the art to do. something.
Interesting.
And sure, we always have art, like doing sculptures, like painting, but for me, that is the art, but not my art.
I think it's serious stuff, and the artist is some sort of a medium for me, and not necessarily aware of what he or she is doing. So the talent would be to be the best possible medium, so that you can get ideas and that you can process them. You know, so you know, there are people who are full of ideas, but you know, when they have to put them into some sort of material or sound or into a movie, they somehow either lose interest or they cannot do it. And there are people who are absolutely fantastic but without any ideas. So for me, artist would be someone who combines both aspects. And you know, in a movie making, David Lynch would be an example, yeah, for me.
It was a century ago. It was a century ago. It was joyful childhood. I enjoyed a lot because we were all the time around our home and on the fresh air, just playing, and it's quite strange for nowadays children to spend a lot of time on the fresh air, and we were without gadgets. We were just cycling, rollerblading, and we were communicating in the direct contact without any kind of screens and gadgets, and it was possible.
I was pretty alive. I was always talking a lot. For example, when we were on summertime on the beach, I was always talking to strange people, to unknown people, and they were always buying me ice cream. So I was pretty good in a childhood with, like, doing with people.
My childhood, it was very, very good. So I don't remember everything, because that time when I was a child, it was war in Croatia, so we have to run away. So, but all my childhood was very good, and it was a lot of fun. I liked to play soccer and basketball. I was enjoying in my childhood.
That's why I think that's why I have great memories, because it's a beautiful. I'm still not sure that I've seen a more beautiful small city.
Most of the time when you remember your childhood, it's when something in the present work comes, and then you go back. So I don't know. For example, for animal rights, I know I was always feeding stray dogs, even when I was a kid.
So that was about my childhood. I was alive, I was studying pretty much, and that would be all.
Well, you know, I have very nice memories. My parents were, of course, alive. They died a few years ago, so they lived together. So I had some sort of, how would you call it, typical functional family. You know, it was operating, and things were going well. We had a house, we still do actually, at the island of Rab, at Northern Adriatic. So a number of my memories are actually related to the island of Rab, especially the happy ones during the summer. And my father is from the island of Rab, so he had a boat. So when I was a boy, you know, he was crazy about fishing, and very good fisherman actually. So you know, I remember fishing when I was a little boy and going around and stuff. So early childhood are mostly pleasant memories.
I got molested in elementary school because I was different. In high school, I was like in a high school where everybody was mathematics, physics, blah, blah, blah. I was doing actions for myself, for people to collect money so they can send me somewhere on the vacations. And I don't remember any bad things, more or less. I guess it more depends on how you, on the perspective you're looking in your life before. So I don't, I just look forward. I'm not a person who is going to analyze it too much.
As a teenager, well, that was more or less okay. So when you ask me about childhood, nothing ugly occurs to me now. You just have, some memories of sunshine, holidays, parents.
But when I was growing up, I couldn't wait for the moment I get my degree and go to the States.
I was good in school, everyone was. And former Yugoslavia had well, I'm aware of that atmosphere now. Of course I wasn't aware when I was a boy. But the atmosphere was extremely positive. Most of the people were employed.
I like Zagreb in springtime, in August, when in a city is only a third of inhabitants, and because everyone are on the seaside during the August, and it's beautiful. It's empty, and it has to be.
The thing I like most in Zagreb, I don't know, the clubs or bars. The clubs and bars in Zagreb are always full. People don't have a job, they're going to drink coffee or something, or beer, I don't know. And that's one of the most popular places in Zagreb, the bars.
I always feel like, I never feel totally at home in Zagreb, I must say. And when I came to Zagreb, I remember the feelings, they still didn't change. I remember the feelings, this whole town is gray. I'm not gonna live here, that's what I was like. But I already knew I'm gonna go to the States, but I was looking at the fronts of the buildings and everything was gray, unkept.
I love Zagreb.
I think that maybe before I was more judgmental about the whole city and I didn't like it that much, so I moved to Spain. I liked it so much because of the different people. City was more beautiful, you had more things to see, more places to go out. So when I came back to Zagreb, it was a change, because you cannot compare Zagreb with any other European city as Barcelona, Madrid, or for example Paris, London. It's different.
Well, I don't like much now. I think that it changed. I don't like it in a way, and it's full of ugly birds. Crows are flying. Do you notice that how many crows are around? They didn't exist when I was a boy. So I remember pigeons and doves and stuff, but not crows. Now everywhere crows. I think that's a bad sign. I don't think Zagreb will survive Armageddon.
All day I was listening through my open window, old songs from Zagreb. And it was like, oh, I love my city. It's really nice. I love my city. I really do.
Yeah, I have, because I think that it's a beautiful country, and I didn't realize it till I went outside, and everyone was like, oh, where are you from? And I was like, Croatia, Zagreb. Oh, really? Croatia is a really great country. You have a lot of islands, people is great, and I didn't know that because for me, maybe it's not like that. You have really great people here, but some of the people are living in the past, like I told you before. So it was really funny just to hear all those good things, and I think that I started to appreciate my country more, because everyone, for example, I have a lot of friends that went when they were little during the war. They went to America, they went to Africa, they went to Australia, and they're appreciating more Croatia and our country than all of my friends.
I don't like people living in Zagreb, because there are people who are doing bad things in Zagreb. There are people who are rude, who don't respect your city, people from other regions, yes, especially in public transport.
I don't like crowd, but I like parks and I like lakes. Zagreb has two lakes, Bundek and Jarun. Jarun is Jarun is artificial lake, and you can spend a lot of time on the air in nature.
But after the war, I think a number of things changed, and then the atmosphere changed. So I don't think it's a particularly cool city. It has some sort of complex of superiority, within a tiny state like Croatia. Croatia, you know, like we think that we're some sort of local New York or Paris, you know, we're better than everyone. And maybe we really are, because I'm from Zagreb, so when I compare Zagreb to other cities, when I think about it seriously, yes, we are better than everyone, but only in Croatia, you know, compared to other serious cities, I think it sucks.
It's a good sized city. There's good cultural happenings in the city as far as theater, movies, festival, music. And so one goes, I really like our park, Maksimir, and I live next to Maksimir, and I'm pretty much 3-4 times a week in that park. That's a really nice park. It's huge. You have to spend at least a week in there to really see what the old things that it has. But that's let's say a nice thing about Zagreb. The size, Maksimir, and the fact that it's as much as we are tiny little country, for our country this is like a big city, a metropole, you know.
Positive way in Croatian society, I remember the most when Croatia won the 3rd place on soccer World Championship 1998. That was the one thing I remember the most, and it is the most positive thing. Actually, sport in Croatia is really good, so.
Before and after 90s. On the beginning, yes, it was a big change in the beginning of 90s, because in the beginning of 90s we said goodbye socialism and hello capitalism, and after the war we expected that the life will be something like a flowery meadow, but it wasn't. Capitalism haven't got a human face for me.
That's the hard question. I think that my childhood was pretty good, but about primary school I'm thinking now, and it was pretty okay. I didn't have some bad memories, bad things. It's, you know, like normal situation. You have some people that you like, some people that you don't like. So we were playing a lot, and it was okay. I don't have that much negative memories about it.
Well, I cannot tell you much about what you want, which period you want to know about, because, you know, I remember the socialism for which we thought it was functioning and perfect. So I remember the period when President Tito was still alive, and, you know, of course I was a teenager when he died, and I know that we were joking about his illness, you know, and, you know, really joking about it, and we didn't take it seriously. So, you know, the parents were worried, the society was worried. I mean, the great leader was dying. Well, we were joking, and teenagers joke about everything, so we were joking about his illness. And when they cut one of his legs, and then we were calling him pirate and stuff like that. So I don't think that was particularly cool, but this is what teenagers do. So I don't remember being very worried about the destiny of post-Tito's Yugoslavia. So I thought it would survive, and I certainly at the time didn't think that it was a totalitarian state which has to be dramatically changed.
There's two histories. There's history of society, and there's history that I remember. So what I remember here, actually, I remember actually pretty good the part of 70s and 80s when I live in so-called, it was Yugoslavia at the time, and it was supposed to be a socialist country, but actually it was very much an independent country. That was, we had actually pretty good upbringing. It was very safe, very little crime, and there was a sense of equality in the society. And I didn't, now when I look back at my growing up, I thought I was pretty lucky the way it was going on.
When you, if you ask me the question now, when I'm 28, there is a lot of negative things. Before, you know, you're idealist. You think you can change the world. That's why I studied journalism, to make difference. then you get to the point when you just understand it's not the way you think it's going to be. So today you're just doing small actions.
I remember, I don't know what was such a problem. Maybe the things I didn't like is, you know, the movie played in United States. This month we get it 7 months later. Or the album, you know, the new Pink Floyd album, we hear it on the radio, it's out in London, we get it 2 months later. Those were the things that I was really upset about. So these are not actually big things, not really important things now. So I think that, but as I said, there must be something wrong since I grew up here knowing I don't want to live here.
After 20 years, war, Croatian politics, war, economy, war, that's stop.
Because from the historical distance we can say that in the socialism we were protected in the very important areas of life, such as education was free, social insurance, health insurance was free, and it was impossible to lose your job at that time because you have to stall a whole factory with workers inside to lose a job. Today I think about 300 people lose their job on the day base.
So in the early 80s and the late 70s, so with late punk and new wave and everything, we had a fantastic atmosphere. But the atmosphere wasn't anti-socialist. No, it was pro-Western in a way that we wanted to listen to Joy Division, for example, which was a hot band at the time, or you know, The Clash, or Susie and the Banshees. You know, we wanted to be a part of that culture, but not that we wanted a market economy or a set of individual liberal rights or stuff like that, or some sort of personal agenda. So no, I wanted to go to London to buy records, you know, but I don't think that I wanted to live in liberal democracy that had that concept at the time. Yeah.
I think that this society is living in a past, and that's the biggest problem. And I'm always talking that to the people. I'm telling that to the people that Croatians are living in a past, and the problem is that we don't want to go to the future. And the future is solution. You know, we cannot live all the time in the past, thinking about the war, hating Serbians, doing fights. It's not the way. It's not the way. So because of all that, I'm not satisfied, because we don't want to move. Not just because of the war, we don't want to move because of everything. We're just Croatians, we don't want other cultures. So it's, for example, you, Spanish people in Croatia, when you speak Spanish in a tram or something like that, everyone is looking like you're from Mars or from the space. So I don't like that. I think that should be something normal.
But the positive thing is that this was really safe, you know. We had bikes. I mean, like the whole neighborhood, we had bikes. We kept our bikes in front of the buildings, and you know, it's the apartment building. My father is a bank president, and next to him there is a waiter. Next to him is a police. It's like the society was equal in some sort, and we were all treated equal. And I'm still pretty much the best friends I have to this day are the best friends that I had when I was 5, 6.
So that's Croatian society. You have people who are doing actions, you have people who are considerate, and you have people who just don't give up for anybody else. And but that's the world. You know.
Okay, the God. Well, I wasn't brought up very Catholic. My mother is a Catholic, my father was a communist, so he never really liked church or induced me going to church, although I had some church affiliations, but pretty much from early on I felt like I'm not a real believer, but I can say that I'm an agnostic.
I live in a Catholic country, but we are a secular country. We have to be divided. I'm atheist. My relatives are Catholics, and they didn't discover the God in the beginning of the 80s or 90s. they were Catholic and they practice their religion and that way of life.
Okay, again, I think that each of us is God, because you're controlling yourself, you're controlling your fate, you're controlling everything. So you don't need God, you don't need someone to tell you, you have to do this, you have to do this. That's not real thing. You have to find yourself, you have to find God in yourself and do something of your life.
Yeah, I believe in God, and I can't describe it because it is, for me, it is everything what surrounds us. That kind of spirit. I don't believe in church as an institution, but in God, yes. And now church doesn't have any common sense with the God. So that is two different things.
For some people, God doesn't exist. For some people, God exists. It's just, for me, it exists because too many good things happen in life that you can say, I don't believe in anything. And then, in what do you believe? I mean, what is your purpose here? Just do something. Be useful.
I'm atheist. I don't think the God is old man with gray hair or beard. I think when I'm thinking about something, I'm thinking about goodness, humanity and love.
And there's no devil, if you didn't know, because everything you do with your own responsibility. Everything that happens in life is just it's luck. There are no how do you say, a coincidence.
God can be the sort of like a light, like something that you look up, something that gives you meaning, and something that we hold on to for balance and for the feeling that we are not alone in this world. And I would actually insist mostly on this balance, because I truly believe, I don't know is that God, but I truly believe that the way you act towards the world is the way the world is gonna get back to you at the end. Because if things are not like that, this universe is too complex. It would all break.
So for me, God is not something spiritual. I believe that something maybe exists, but everything is here and around us. We have to be good to ourselves and to the other people, and that's it. That's the secret.
The future. Oh, the future.
I believe, as you know, that the things don't have to happen in a way they are going to happen. So when I think about future, I don't have reasons to believe that it will be a rosy one, but who knows?
I hope so. That is going to be very, very, very good. But if I stay in Croatia, it's not going to be good. But in my capabilities, I think it's going to be good.
That's a great thing, because I'm thinking a lot about the future, and I'm one of those people that are thinking too much. And maybe some of my friends are talking, yeah, I like to go out, I like to have fun, everything like this. But I'm always thinking about the future a lot. Because of that, because I think people are telling, oh, you have time, you have time. You don't have time, because if you will think like you have time, you will never do it.
Oh, of the future in general. Well, I'm a mild optimist. Before I was a big optimist, but now the older I get, my optimism is sort of brought down by reality into some normal scale. I thought, let's say, I was pretty much convinced that until I was 16, 17, I was convinced that the Second World War was the last war ever fought.
There is a song by one of my favorite bands called The Resident. It's a gingerbread song, and it goes something like this: only and only hours away there may be man with $1 million. Only minutes away there may be man with a gun. Only seconds away there may be love that will last forever. But if it doesn't come, there may never be one. I'm not sure that this is exactly how the verses go, but that's the meaning. So maybe they phrased it differently. But that's the idea. I mean, only hours away there may be man with $1 million. Only minutes away. So things happen.
I don't know, I mean, I can be dead tomorrow, so it's funny to talk about future. Before I had plans. First of all, you watch Star Trek, where aliens are all vegetarians, and I know when I die, people are still going to eat meat, animals are going to suffer, people are going to be explored, women are going to be raped.
Every new generation that rises has a chance to actually improve the future in a certain way. It has to look at it that way. Not expect that this old generation, me, I'm gonna actually take care of your future.
Who knows? It's frustrating when you ask me that question, Before I had some visions, I had pictures. I knew for example, when I started to sing, I knew I'm going to perform on the stage. Now I don't have any pictures. Maybe it's the state of mind because you're too occupied. You cannot, think abstract. We are not in a position today where we can think about future because it's so bad.
And about the future, I'm really positive about the future, and I believe. I'm not telling, oh, I hope that I will do something. I'm always telling, I will do something. Because if you say, oh, I believe that I will do something, it's different than maybe I will do. You have to decide, you have to go straight, you have to learn languages, meet people, study. And studying, it's not the most important thing because I don't like to study, that's the truth. I always like more, just talking with people and getting to know people and world like this. But studying is also important, traveling, put it all together, and it's a perfect recipe.
So I don't think particularly rosy future, but only a seconds away there may be love that will last forever. So maybe we'll go out and you'll find the love of your life and I'll find as well. So who bloody knows? I cannot be a pessimist. So I don't have any reasons to believe that it will be good, but for some reason I believe that something will happen, and yeah, that's it.
So bad, standing in the sun, bottom of your heart, you don't love no one. You can't be oh so mean, I just can't see no in between. You know what the sun's all about when the lights go out.
To turn off the camera.